Hey everyone, it is September 22, 2022. Welcome to another Open Cluster Management Community Meetings. Today we have the pleasure of Shengjing, who's gonna talk a little bit about ArgoCD integration, specifically adding pool model to ArgoCD. So Shengjing, without any further delay, please take it away. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mac. Let me share my screen. Sorry, I cannot start screen share while the other participant is sharing. Okay, yeah, so now it's okay. Okay, so
You can see it.
okay, thanks. Okay, yeah. Today's topics we're going to go through the new design for the OCM with ArgoCD pool model integration. Before I start going through this new design, so let me just give you a quick review about what the push model and the pull model mean.
So, Shengjing, sorry to interrupt. Could you zoom in a little bit? Or maybe not for this presentation, but for the other one, if you could zoom in, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep, yeah. So yeah, let's talk about the push model and the pull model a little bit from the high level perspective. So the push model is actually the native way for ArgoCD. So basically, as shown in this structure, in this diagram, so the ArgoCD is installed on the hub cluster, and we need to import all the managed clusters, cluster secret to the ArgoCD server namespace, and then from here, and the users they create the ArgoCD applications, and then these ArgoCD application will talk to the online GitHub to get the resources, and then is directly deployed the resources to all the managed clusters. So there's only one ArgoCD instance running on the hub cluster. While in the pool model, it's a bit different. So here it's a still hub. So as you can see, there's no ArgoCD running on the hub cluster. While the ArgoCD instance, they are running on each of the managed cluster, and then as a result, so each of the ArgoCD instance, they're talking to the GitHub hubs to pull the resources and do the local deployment. So from here, so we can see that there are some challenges in this pool model. The first challenge is so how do we deliver the ArgoCD application templates to the managed clusters with an automatic way. The second one is since each ArgoCD instance they're running on each of the managed cluster, then after they finish their local deployment, so we need to find a way to report all of these ArgoCD application status back to the hub cluster into a central place for the visualization. Okay, yeah. So here, with that being said, so let's talk about the new design that we are planning to support this pool model integration. Let me, I have another big picture. Yeah, so here, let's go through some of the workflows we already defined in this pool model design. In the first one, this is actually for a user to create a multi-cluster application set CR on the hub. So the multi-cluster application set CRD, that's a new CRD we are proposing. So basically, we are planning to follow the current ArgoCD application set CRD with the so all the specs are the same, but they have the different API version and kind. So the purpose to do it is we want to make it easier to make the contribution back to the ArgoCD application set repo when our pull model is widely accepted and is mature enough in the future. Yeah. So here is one sample. So we can take a look at it. This new multi-cluster application set what it looks like. As you can see here, the API version, we have changed it to our OCM group and version and kind. We also renamed to other one. And except to that, so all the specs, they are following the current ArgoCD application set CRD. Also, the generators, we are using this generator that's to bind to our OCM placement CR to be able to get the clusters that the users they define in the placement. And in the template, so the template is actually a local ArgoCD application template. And there are some differences though. The first difference is, in this local ArgoCD application template, the namespace is always the OpenShift GitOps. So we are asking the users in order to use this pull model, so they need to install the GitOps, the Red Hat GitOps operator from the OpenShift operator hub UI. So this namespace is always the fixed one. And for the destination, so that's for specifying which cluster that this ArgoCD application will be deployed. So yeah, since this template will be delivered to the managed clusters, so here we always specify the destination as the local one. And so for the source here, that's for specifying the GitHub repo, including its path and repo URL. So there's no difference. And also we enable the automatically async. So once this ArgoCD application is delivered to the managed cluster, the ArgoCD application controller will be reconciled to do this local deployment automatically. Yeah. So, and there's another example. So that's for specifying a Helm type ArgoCD application template. So here the only difference is the source. So here we define how to get a Helm chart from the Helm repo, from the given Helm repo. Yeah. So those are the first flow we are defining. Let's talk about the second flow. That's for the propagation. So once this multi-cluster application set is created, the propagation controller will be reconciled to propagate this ArgoCD application template to the managed cluster namespace on the hub. So here, this is still located in hub, but we will leverage our OCM manifest work functionality to create this manifest work, bundling the ArgoCD application templates to the cluster namespace on the hub. So later, if we have some time, so Mike will have a quick demo for this one. Okay, and let's take a quick look at it, how what the manifest work looks like here. See, as you can see here, this manifest work is actually have this workload manifest where we get this ArgoCD application template from the multi-cluster application set CR. Then we get this template here, and we also have additional sightings. for specify in the future. So when this ArgoCD application template is created on the managed cluster, then we want to think the overall status from the ArgoCD application deployed on the managed cluster. So here we define the two JSON paths to sync this overall health status and sync status there. And I will talk about it later. So here, yes. After after the second workflow, we created this ArgoCD application template in each of the cluster namespace, and then the manifest work controller will be reconciled to propagate this ArgoCD application to the given managed cluster here. And then we will go to the third workflow. So that's for the local deployment owned by the local ArgoCD server. So here, that's talking about this part. So here we are basically leveraging all the ArgoCD functionalities, and there's no code for us. So since, as I talked in the beginning, so in each of the managed cluster, there is ArgoCD instances running there. So that will be triggered to pull the resources from the Git and Helm repos, and then do the local deployment, and then report the resource status and resource list and relative status here on the local managed cluster. And in the fourth, the next workflow, that's actually for this is the new component we are adding for get the ArgoCD application resource list and the error messages by leveraging our search v2 component. So these search v2 components, we have previously the search squad in our team, they already presented these new search v2 components. And so basically, we are leveraging their functionality to collect the ArgoCD application resource list and error messages from all the managed clusters. So search components, they are also working on this new collection functionality for us, and that's underway. And so here is for us, we deployed another resource sync controller here. That's for scheduled to run a search query periodically for fetching the resource list and error messages from all the ArgoCD applications. And then once they get this info from the search v2 components, they will save the resource list and the relative error messages to the local YAML file in the pod volume here. So this is the sample that the info will be fetched from the search component and saved to the local YAML files. So there's the one YAML file, such YAML file per application set. And this YAML file is named as the application set namespace plus its application set name. Okay, so and in the last workflow, and we will aggregate all the info that we collected to generate the final multi-cluster application set report in the region a multi-cluster application set CR namespace. So here, this aggregation controller, I'd like to mention that. So here we collect the two kinds of info from the different places. The first one is the overall health status and sync status. And this is given by the manifest work that we propagated previously in the workflow tool. And for the resource list and the error messages, then we will collect it from the YAML file that generated by the resource sync controller. So by combining these two information, then we're able to generate the final application set report. So here are some details as I talked before. So in manifest work, so we actually have these additional manifest configures. So that's for fetching the health status and the sync status from the given Argo applications deployed on the given managed cluster. So by giving these JSON passes, then we are able to get this overall status from the manifest work. And for the final application set report, so here is what it looks like. So as you can see, there are several parts, and the first part is the resource list for this application set. Then, and the second one is for the status. For the status on this on each of the managed cluster. So we have the cluster name to specify which cluster this ArgoCD application set is deployed, and we have the overall sync status. We have the overall health status, and if there are any errors here, then we also append the errors given by the ArgoCD application and to the results. And finally, we have another section that's for the overview, the summary section here that we will report the total clusters propagated by this ArgoCD application set, and how many are synced, how many not synced, how many are healthy, and how many are not healthy, and how many are in progress. So those are the info that we're able to fetch from the ArgoCD application status on the managed clusters. Okay, and so basically those are the quick review of all of our 5 workflows we designed to support this pool model. And lastly, I just want to give you guys an overview of how many resources we distributed to support this pool model. So we use this use case to evaluate. Let's say we have one multi-cluster application set deployed to the 1,000 clusters. So on hub cluster, since this application set is deployed to each of the cluster namespace, then we have the same number. So this is the biggest number. So we also have the 1,000th manifest work created under each of the cluster namespace. And for the multi-cluster application set report, so we have only one. So there's one report per the application set. And on each of the managed cluster, we also have one ArgoCD application propagated from the hub cluster. Okay, so this is the major part of this design, and in this talk we also have some other topics, so I won't want to go through here. So that's mainly related to how ArgoCD present their application status in the different fields. So yeah, so that's the main topics in the ArgoCD community. Yes. Okay, so that's the design review. So Mike, if you have cycle, so you can go ahead to do your demo.
Thank you, Shangjing. That was a great presentation. Before I do the little POC demo, are there any questions for Shangjing? Okay, if there are any other questions, we can always take it after I do the demo. I'm gonna start sharing my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. So as Shangjing described, I'm gonna do the demo on the left, mostly on the left side of this diagram. So it'll be on 1, 2, and 3. I'll be applying the application set CR on the hub cluster, and then it'll propagate based on the placement and the manifest work of the Open Cluster Management API. And then once the application lands on the managed cluster, it'll report back based on the status feedback. So on my left side terminal, I have the hub cluster set up. On my right side, I have a managed cluster set up. On the managed cluster side, I have the Argo instance, as well as on the hub side. The hub side, I don't have the pod running because I'm running on a local dev environment. I made changes to the upstream Argo's CD application set to generate the manifest work that wrapping the application, which will deploy to the managed cluster. As you can see, the change is not that big, and this is another point for open cluster management where we are the integration points to enable the multi-cluster capability of a upstream project. So let me talk a little bit about what I have currently deployed. I have the placement, which is to pick which cluster that I am going to, the workload is going to be targeted after placement decision, which is the actual name of the cluster. So in the status here, we can see that it only picked out one cluster, which is the cluster 1. I have a config map that tells ArgoCD for the application set, I wanted to use the placement decision results with the cluster name, and then that is that's the cluster I want to deploy to. So before I apply the application set, we can take a look at the CR here. So in the generators, it uses the config map that I just showed earlier, and then it's picking on based on the Open Cluster Management placement API, the guestbook app placement that I already applied. So the template here is the application template for the ArgoCD, and then it'll resolve the generator and then populate the template accordingly. And then once the template is populated, my changes in the code will wrap the application in a manifest work and deploy it to the managed cluster. So let me apply the application set on the hub cluster. So once the application set is applied on the hub cluster, it will generate the manifest work on the managed cluster namespace on the hub, and then it'll get deployed over on the managed cluster, as we can see. And then the status here, it will get feedback into the manifest work in the status feedback here, based on our definition of the manifest work feedback type. So that was just a quick POC of the first portion of the application pool model. Are there any questions for me and Shangjin?
Yeah, so this looks really great. I just want to ask, so do we plan to push a peer to the ArgoCD to support that? And so is there any option that application set can support different engine for delivery manifest?
So the application set it's a specific Argo CD API. So I doubt that they will support the other delivery engine. We are in conversation with the Argo CD developers and see how we can have this pool model be contributed to the upstream. So some of the discussion have been because this changes is heavily rely on the Open Cluster Management API, the manifest work, and the placement. Well, not placement, just mostly the manifest work and the managed cluster, because it assumes that it goes towards the namespace. I think one of the feedback is they mentioned is they would like to abstract that a little bit. So, for example, maybe instead of having application set, I'm not instead of in parallel of having application set, they're thinking of making a cluster set. So as you know, Open Cluster Management has the concept of cluster set already, and then maybe we can introduce a cluster set in the Argo community where it's a little bit more like an interface, and then we can implement that cluster set interface and try to integrate through that way. But we're still in early discussion right now. As Shangjing mentioned, so for now we'll have the API group under Open Cluster Management for now, and then we'll slowly we'll try to keep our code mostly in sync with the upstream code, and then eventually we'll try to contribute back to the community. Shangjing, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, that's all we have. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. That sounds great.
Are there any other questions? Qijang, do you have any other topics you want to bring up in the last minute of our community meeting?
Nope, just to remind that the next meeting we will have two students to present two topics differently. One is about multi-cluster tracing. Another one is about some enhancement on the placement to support spreading policy. So
thank you, Qijang. Oh, there's actually one more question, I think, from Ivan. Ivan is wondering about the status of the search being included into the Open Cluster Management the repo. Organization, GitHub organization. Qijang, this question is for you mostly because I think it's yes, I think is there anything that is currently blocking the search? Oh, I guess they haven't replied back to your question yet. Okay, I'll chase I'll chase Jody about this. Ivan, do you have any other questions?
Regarding this, no, thank you. And but I had a question regarding the pretty same as quite Jade had regarding the list of how ArgoCD will know about a grouping of or how ArgoCD can deploy the application, ArgoCD application to the any group of cluster in OCM. So if the list of change propagate this change to the new cluster in the group.
Okay, yeah, and for this question, yeah. So as shown in this diagram, so basically, so the ArgoCD they don't know which clusters that they want to deploy. So in our design, so basically we just we decide which clusters this ArgoCD application will be deployed by the placement that we define in the application set generator. So for ArgoCD, so they are only running on each of the managed clusters. So they are just doing the local deployment. And yeah, see, yeah, as Mike just shown here. So we have another placement that bound to this application set. So this placement, they actually generate a list of the clusters decided by this placement specification. Yeah.
Cool. And this is already part of OCM, right?
Yes, yes. So the placement and the manifest work API, they're part of the OCM foundation APIs. Yes.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will try it because it's quite hot topic for us. And so we're just playing with ArgoCD, with OCM. So next week, I hope we will try this, and I think would be very helpful for us.
So I just want to add, Ivan, the pool model is what we're trying to introduce in this release. It's not there yet, but we do have the push model already in the community right here. So the instructions is on the website as well in the OCM repo for the ArgoCD integration. The pool model we're hoping targeting at the end of this 0.7 release, I think. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I think
I have one question regarding to you. When this presentation will be ready on the YouTube channel, because it's very hot topic and I will share with my team.
Yep, it'll be maybe in about 2 hours or so. I'll upload it. It does take a little bit to generate the I think Zoom does take like an hour to render the video, and then I'll upload it to YouTube once I get the email from Zoom that it's already rendered.
Wonderful, thanks. So we have evening, so tomorrow will be nice.
Okay, I think we're 5 minutes over. Are there any other questions? If not, thank you everyone for joining. Have a nice day. Take care.
You too.
Thanks.
Have a great evening. Bye.
Bye.